Hey, what's up guys, it's Sports Blitz here, and we're back with our NFL Week 9 Power Rankings. Guys, we're already at the mid-season mark right here. Like, this is insane. The season's going by super fast, but Week 8 was really good. There were a few backup quarterbacks to win this week. The most popular one was Mike White getting a win for the Jets over the Bengals. Then also Cooper Rush leading the Cowboys to a win over the Vikings. And then also Trevor Siemian leading the Saints to a win over the Buccaneers. So, yeah, a lot of backups winning, doing their job. So, yeah, it's been an interesting week, but let's go ahead and jump into the power rankings. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We're really trying to hit 750 subscribers by the end of the week, so make sure to help me out with that, and let's jump into it. Number 32, I have the Texans. I still firmly believe they are the worst team in football. I will say I do see a little bit of potential in Davis Mills. I think he can be a solid player in this NFL. I don't think he's ready yet. I mean, he was a third round rookie quarterback this year. That's a lot to ask, to have your third round rookie quarterback go out and lead a team that is this torn apart and win games. I mean, just not an easy task. Texans have a lot on their plate right now, so I don't see them in a good spot. So they are at number 32 here. Then 31, I have the Jaguars. My opinions on them haven't changed. Like I said before, I have no confidence in Urban Meyer. Trevor Lawrence has looked solid, but is turning over the ball too much. He also really just doesn't have many great pieces around him. James Robinson is good. His O-line has been fairly solid, to be honest, but it hasn't been anything special by any means. And I just don't think the Jags are in a great spot, but this loss to Seattle isn't enough to bump them to 32. 30, we have the Lions going down a spot. They got absolutely whooped by the Eagles. I'm really disappointed. I really wanted the Lions to win this game and really thought they would. I thought they'd get their first win of the season for this game. I'm really disappointed. I really like Dan Campbell. I still think he's going to be that guy. The way that he really cares about his players and everything, he sees the hard work they're all putting in, and you can just see it. Every time he has a press conference, he's so passionate about it, and his players usually respond to that. This was a really bad game for the Lions, but he hasn't lost that locker room, and I think he will be able to eventually turn it around. Probably not this year, but he will continue building that team and make the Lions a little bit more of a competent franchise in the future. So there's that for 30. 29, I have the Dolphins going down by one spot. Their offense continues to struggle. I really don't think this is all on Tua. I mean, they've got a very, very, very bad offensive line. Their run game isn't good at all. They're not running the ball at all, which I would honestly kind of put on coaching. Their defense really isn't performing all that well. I don't see a lot going for the Dolphins, but today is the NFL trade deadline. It's possible they get a trade in for Deshaun Watson. If they do, I think this team gets a lot better, but where Tua isn't the only problem here, I wouldn't recommend a team that's kind of rebuilding a little bit to go all in on Deshaun Watson, especially where they don't know the situation with their head coach. 28, I have the Washington football team. They continue to struggle. Taylor Heineke, like, I'll be honest, I really like the kid, but he's he's proving more and more each week that he's not the guy. He seems to really be struggling now. And Washington's defense really doesn't look all that great, to be honest, either. It's played very badly recently. So that's why I have Washington this low. 27, I have the Jets after Mike White led them to a win over the Bengals. That was a win the Jets really needed to get, but I wouldn't say it's enough that, I would bump them into a tier of like a, of a competent team. They're still really struggling. They're still not a good team. But it was good to see the Jets, finally get some offensive chemistry. 26, I have the Chicago Bears. They lost to the 49ers. I will say Justin Fields looked really good. I think this was his best game. I really do. He looked really good, especially running the football, but this was also probably his best passing game as well. The Bears defense isn't looking too hot right now, though. They really need to step up. In all honesty, I don't think it was the offense that actually lost the Bears this game. I think it was their defense. I mean, they allowed 171 yards from Deebo Samuel, over 100 yards on the ground from Elijah Mitchell. The defense is just struggling really bad. And the Bears are in a tough spot. I very well see Matt Nagy being fired at the end of the season. 25, I have the Giants going down by 3 after losing to the Chiefs. Now, I'll be honest, that game actually kind of went about how I'd expect it. Patrick Mahomes was turning over the ball. There were a few drops, actually. He was getting sacked. The defense wasn't doing a great job. It was just a sloppy game for both sides. There was even a Travis Kelce fumble in there. The Chiefs are turning over the ball too much. And really, when there's that many turnovers for the Chiefs, the Giants have got to find out a way to win the game. And the Giants were honestly just as sloppy, so that's why I'm dropping them by 3. 24, I have the Eagles after a dominant win over the Lions. Now, if this was against a little bit more competent of a team, I would raise the Eagles a little bit more, but we do have to realize it is the Lions. Yeah, I like their coach. I like the direction they're headed, but they're not a great team yet. Okay, so they are only going up by 2 here, but this Eagles team has some potential, to be honest. If they get back to running the ball like they did against the Lions, this team can be really good. I think coaching needs to realize that when they run the ball, control the clock, and play good defense, this team can win. So if they can continue that formula, this team's going to start winning more games, and it can be a very scary NFC team. 23, I have the Falcons going down by 3 after a 19-13 loss to the Carolina Panthers. I saw a stat, actually. This was Matt Ryan's worst game passing yardage-wise that he's ever had against the Carolina Panthers. I want to say it was only like 130 or so passing yards, and that was like the worst in his career. So Panthers defense definitely showed up. It was definitely the Panthers defense and them running the ball and controlling the clock that won them this game. I don't think Darnold looked bad, but he really didn't look great. Just overall good defensive game from the Panthers, and that's ultimately what won them the game. 22, I have the Broncos. They recently, well, actually yesterday, just traded Von Miller away. And, I'm not exactly sure what this team is going for. I hear that the picks they acquired for trading Von Miller, they are trying to use to trade for a quarterback. I don't know who they're targeting, who they're trying to go for. I would honestly doubt it's going to be much to help to get Deshaun Watson, but who knows? Maybe something like that happens today. There's a few more hours till the deadline, so we'll have to see what goes on there. But this defense is playing well. I wouldn't say it's playing purely dominant, but they are playing well. Teddy Bridgewater continues to be a game manager. He didn't ruin the game at all for them. He didn't make any huge mistakes, but he also wasn't the main reason they won this game. So because of some offensive struggles, I have the Broncos at 22. 21, I have the Panthers. It's kind of scary how similar the Panthers and Broncos have been this season. Both defenses have played very, very well. Both have very much struggling quarterbacks, and both have honestly questionable coaching. These two teams have been back to back all season. They both started out 3-0, then they both lost 4 straight games, and then they both won this game. It's like they're the exact same team. And for that reason, I've got to keep them together on the power rankings. It's kind of freaking me out. But number 20, I have the Seattle Seahawks going up by 1 after dominating the Jaguars. I'm having them go up mostly because they were able to get that dominant of a win without Russell Wilson and Chris Carson. If they would have had Russ and Chris Carson, they could have put up over 40 on this team and just obliterated the Jaguars. But still a dominant win. But the Jags aren't a great team, so that's why I'm not having the Seahawks go up by much here. Number 19, I have the 49ers. They ultimately beat the Bears, but I didn't really feel like it was quite dominant enough of a win to really put them above my next few teams. 18, I have the Chiefs. They also won their game, but it was sloppy. It wasn't a dominant win. It was a game they should have dominated more, and they didn't. So that's why they're not going up. Number 17, we have the Colts. They're going down by 2. The Colts also beat the 49ers by 12 2 weeks ago. So I couldn't put the 49ers above them. They did have a very, very good overtime game against the Titans, but Carson Wentz threw a very, very key pick, causing the Titans to kick the game-winning field goal, and ultimately, the Colts lost there. But yeah, that's why I have them at number 17. 16, the Vikings kept it very, very close with the Cowboys, but they also didn't have Dak Prescott. This was a game that the Vikings very well should have been able to take advantage of and win, but they still lost to Cooper Rush. I'll be honest, I kind of debated dropping them a little bit more because of that, but they did keep it a closer game. I have seen these Vikings play very well. I don't think this is going to turn into a negative trend for them. I think it was just kind of one bad game. Plus, Kirk Cousins always struggles in prime time. It's not that it's a new thing. We shouldn't really be too surprised that way. So that's why I'm not dropping the Vikings by more. I think they'll be able to bounce back and start picking up wins again. Number 15, I have the Cleveland Browns, and man, was I wrong at the beginning of the season about the Browns. I had them as my team winning the AFC this year and actually being the AFC team in the Super Bowl. they haven't played very well. Yeah, they've had a lot of injuries, but like Baker Mayfield isn't doing anything. Odell Beckham Jr. isn't really getting involved. Um, there's something wrong with this team. This offense is broken, and not in a good way type of broken. It's not broken like overpowered. Like it's dysfunctional right now. Um, they're still running the ball pretty well, but it's not enough for them to really dominate games. They don't look like a dominant team like they were last year, and I don't know what's going on with this Browns team. It's really weird. 14, I have the Steelers going up by 2 after beating the Browns. This was actually a pretty impressive win for the Steelers. Their defense continues to be dominant. Ben Roethlisberger really had a pretty solid game. He was protecting the ball, was avoiding dangerous situations. Najee, I thought, played pretty well again. I think Najee's been balling out all year, and I expected it. I truly expected Najee to have a big year. I've been watching him since he was in high school, so really cool to see him balling out in the NFL too. But yeah, Steelers are on a roll. They're playing very well right now. 13, I have the Bengals going down by 3 after losing to the Jets. I don't think this is going to be a loss that gets them down and has them going on a losing streak. I think they'll be able to bounce back. Joe Burrow is too much of a leader to let that happen. I think this Bengals defense is still legit. They just had a really rough game. I think the Bengals will bounce back. But regardless, this was a tough loss for them. So I'm having them sitting at number 13 right now. 12, I have the Patriots going up by 5 after beating the Chargers. Now, I had the Chargers as a top 10 team the last few weeks, actually. I still think they are a really good team. This doesn't change my opinion too much on the Chargers this season. I still think they're going to be a really good playoff team. But that Patriots defense is tough. It's tough for any young quarterback to play against. Bill Belichick knows what he's doing defensively, and yeah, it's tough. Patriots are they're showing some improvement, and I think before too long they're going to be more of a legit AFC contender. Number 11, I have the Chargers. They're going down by 3 after losing to the Patriots. Like I mentioned before, I don't think it's going to be a serious loss for them. I think they'll be able to bounce back. I think Justin Herbert and the rest of that team is too talented to, let it really affect them too negatively. So I think they'll be able to bounce back and start winning more games. But regardless, this was a pretty bad loss for them. 10, I have the Ravens. Really, they're just going up 2 because of the teams around them moving. It was a bye for the Ravens. So, yeah, typically they really shouldn't go up or down, but they're moving because of the teams around them moving. Yeah, that's why I have them at number 10. Number 9, Raiders. Again, it was their bye week as well, so they're not going up or down there, staying at 9. Number 8, I have the New Orleans Saints. Now, I debated moving them up this much because of Jameis Winston's season-ending injury, but Trevor Siemian actually played really well against the Bucs. Jameis went out pretty early in that game, and Trevor Siemian stepped up really well. It remains to be seen if he'll be able to continue doing that. But Sean Payton's system's perfect for quarterbacks. It is a very quarterback-friendly system. As long as they can play good defense and, protect the ball, I don't think the Saints are really going to miss much of a beat here. I feel like they're a team that can actually play really well regardless of who's at quarterback. Number 7, I have the Bucks dropping by 5 after losing to the Saints. I'll be honest. I feel like the score makes it seem like the game is closer than it was. Brady had a really good game. Don't get me wrong. Brady had a good game. But I feel like the Saints just dominated. It was the most rushing yards that the Bucks had allowed all season. Trevor Siemian was dicing him up pretty well, and it didn't look like the normal Bucks team. I don't know what it is about regular season and them losing so bad to the Saints, but it didn't seem like really that close of a game. I feel like the Saints actually dominated quite a bit. So that's why I'm having them drop by 5, but they'll probably be back up, top 3 within the next few weeks. Number 6, I have the Titans, not going up or down at all because, it was an overtime win, but there's so many, really good teams, and I couldn't justify putting them above my top 5 teams. Titans are a really good team, but I don't think they're top 5 right now. So number 5, I have the Cowboys, also not going up or down at all. I think they're a top 5 team. They were able to beat the Vikings without Dak Prescott, but like I said, I still think there's 4 teams better than them, but I don't see any reason for them to go up right now. Number 4, same thing with the Rams. They played the Texans. Winning against the Texans isn't enough to, move you into the top 3. Rams are a damn good team, but so are these top 3 teams. Cardinals, I'm only having dropped by 2 because it was a very, very close game against the Packers that came down to the wire. Really, if it weren't for a bad mistake on A.J. Green's part, actually, it wasn't even Kyler Murray's. Because of A.J. Green, the Cardinals lost on the game-winning drive. I don't think that's enough to have the Cardinals dropping many spots. So number 2, I have the Bills going up by 1 after beating the Dolphins. You know the story. Bills are really good. Dolphins are really bad. Bills dominated. End of that discussion. Number 1, I have the Packers. Now, after starting with a rough start, week 1 against the Saints, they have now won 7 games straight and are on an absolute roll right now. They took down the, at the time, undefeated Cardinals, and that is enough for them to take the number 1 spot in my power rankings. They are on a roll, offensively and defensively. They're looking really good right now. Unfortunately, Robert Tonyan is out for the season, so they're really looking to trade for a tight end. But, with how they are right now, they're looking really good. But that's my power rankings for Week 9. Again, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know what you agree with, what you don't agree with, and I will see you next time. Later.